arrested with a court-authorized warrant.
America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Emily Campagno, and I'm taking you inside the Idaho murders. In Moscow, Idaho, a small college town, one case so violent and heartbreaking shocked the nation. 4 students were found brutally murdered in their off-campus home, prompting a cross-country search for the cold-blooded killer. The Fox True Crime Podcast presents Inside the Idaho Murders. The evidence, the manhunt, the killer, and the victims.
Listen and follow now at foxtruecrime.com. Every weekday, it's your go-to source for staying informed and entertained. The Fox News Primetime Highlights Podcast, offering a curated selection of the most impactful moments of the Ingram Angle, Jesse Waters Primetime, Hannity, and Gutfeld. Listen and follow now so you never miss a moment of the action-packed highlights from these must-watch Fox News Channel shows. Go to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. America's listening to Fox News.
President Trump's top economic advisor explaining why his boss made a big staff change just hours after the latest jobs report was released. Details from Fox's Gernal Scott.
President Trump fired the director of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Erica McIntyre, after a July report showing a gain of just 73,000 jobs and May and June job gains that were inflated by just over 250,000. White House National Economic Advisor Kevin Hassett said on Fox News Sunday he would want details on those numbers and changes.
Instead, they have this little black box that moves the numbers around and makes people wonder, sometimes with partisan patterns. And so I think what we need is a fresh set of eyes at the BLS, somebody who can clean this thing up.
Democrats have widely criticized the firing as an authoritarian move by the president. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
U.S. trading partners will start paying more to export their goods to America as President Trump demands better trade deals. Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer reports.
President Trump's tariffs are pretty much set on the more than 60 trading partners with the U.S. That is according to the U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Starting Thursday, all imports will have at least a 10% tariff rate, with some countries paying up to 40%. The White House announced the tariff rates for imports just hours ahead of a self-imposed deadline last Friday.
Speaking to reporters Sunday, President Trump suggested middle and low-income Americans can receive some of the tariffs collected as a dividend. A tropical weather system bearing down on the southeast has formed into what's known as Tropical Storm Dexter. But the National Hurricane Center in Miami says the system is expected to move away from the U.S. coast and remain north of Bermuda. However, some areas, including spots in Georgia, are already reporting getting hit with 4 inches of rain from the storm system, which is currently about 500 miles east of the North Carolina coast, churning in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm Sue Guzman. This is Fox News.
Bank Pacific has a $100 gift for all recent high school and college graduates.
Okay, I'll bite. What is it?
Open a checking account with Bank Pacific, show us you just graduated, and bingo! We'll deposit an additional $100 into your account.
What about a Visa debit card?
Yep, Visa debit card, online and mobile banking, remote deposit capture, the works.
What about for existing customers who just graduated?
They get $100 too.
Great, count me in.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots. Conditions apply. Member FDIC.
This summer, Budweiser and Bud Light want you to grill like a pro. From now until August 15th, purchase 12 packs of Bud Family and scan the QR code inside for your chance to win one of 6 Traeger barbecue grills. Plus, every QR code you scan earns you current Guam Rewards points to redeem for other great prizes to take your barbecue game to the next level. Must be 21 to enter. No purchase necessary. See currentguam.com for more details. Grill like a pro this summer with Budweiser and Bud Light. Budweiser reminds you to drink responsibly.
Let's get spicy at Subway. A little sweet, a little spicy, and a whole lot of delicious. Subway's hot honey sauce is a perfect balance of naturally sweet honey and spicy cayenne and habanero pepper powder. Treat your taste buds to 2 new flavored packed sandwiches. The zesty hot honey pepperoni or the tender hot honey chicken with your choice of fresh sliced veggies, cheese, and freshly baked bread. All drizzled with hot honey. And for a limited time, Subway is serving up the hot honey sauce to spice up the entire Subway menu. So you can add hot honey to any sandwich, salad, or wrap at no extra cost. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Are you planning a trip to the Philippines? Why not come back feeling healthier and more rejuvenated? At the Medical City, we offer world-class healthcare services, including comprehensive executive checkups and top-tier aesthetic treatments for as low as $530. Imagine lounging on white sandy beaches, shopping at top-tier shopping centers, and indulging in premium healthcare all in one vacation. Book your getaway now and experience the best of both worlds. The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
It is 1600. Oh, it is 1800 hours and 7 minutes. It is now time for Veterans with Benefits with your hosts, Anthony Terran and Corinna Ballista.
Half a day. Welcome back. You're listening to us on The Point. You can call into 671-888-TALK. And of course, we always want to start by thanking our sponsors, Ambrose Inc., veteran-owned business, Hebzibah Family Medical Clinic, American Legion. Don't forget to visit them every second weekend, Saturday for Steak Day. And then 11Z's. I think I finished my espresso drink. Thank you, Verge and Grace, next to 11Z's. And then I think I have my raspberry tea. So yummy. And then they offer 11% discount for military and veterans. Thank you for that. JTC Services, another veteran-owned company. The Most Services with Rob Jackson, another veteran-owned company. HMI, so even though Anthony and I are the hosts on this show, we're also part of the nonprofit veteran group HMI. Master Blasters for all your blasting needs. And I think it's Victor Titano's birthday tomorrow. One of the owners of Master Blasters. And then Domino's.
Oh, yes, Dane Titano. We need to get in touch with you, Dane.
Yes, he said, Karina, too many veterans are coming here. Send me their names. I'm sorry, Dane. I need to do a better job. And then Tatlu Eats. I need to visit them. But yes, they do offer military discount when you visit them.
And the food there is awesome, right?
Amazing. Yes. The what is it? The
bowls.
The poke.
Yeah.
Yes, my favorite is the coconut milk poke with the onions. Oh, so yummy. So that's what I want to start with. And then Veteran of the Week, my favorite part. Yeah. Veteran of the Week is Vincent Ramos. Vincent Ramos served the United States Army. He served honorably in the United States Army from 1976 to 1982, dedicating 6 years to supporting the Army's communications mission during the Cold War era. Assigned to the 235th Signal Detachment, Mr. Ramos specialized as a tactical satellite operator, a critical role responsible for maintaining secure and reliable satellite communications for Army operations. During his active duty service, Mr. Ramos earned multiple awards recognizing his professional excellence and dedication, including Army Commendation Medal, Good Conduct Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Overseas Service Ribbon, NCO Professional Development Ribbon, Expert Badge M16 Rifle, Expert Badge Hand Grenade. Stay away from him. Following his active service, Mr. Ramos continued his commitment to the military by serving 1 year in the Army Reserve, contributing his expertise to the readiness of reserve units. After completing his military service, Mr. Ramos transitioned to a civilian career with the U.S. Navy, entering the Navy Civilian Apprenticeship Program to train as an electrician. Through years of hard work and leadership, he rose through the ranks to become a supervisor, overseeing electrical operations and mentoring the next generation of Navy civilian employees. In 2023, after decades of dedicated service to both the U.S. Army and U.S. Navy civilian workforce, Mr. Ramos retired, leaving behind a legacy of professionalism, technical skill, and unwavering commitment to service. Let us thank him for his service, Vincent Ramos. All right.
Don't forget to go get your free pizza over at Dane. And if you don't want the pizza, be sure you call me or tell me and I'll go get it. You know, we could always use a good pizza. And thank you to Dane, who's also a veteran and is a really huge supporter of the Veteran of the Week. They've been doing this now over a year?
Yes, over a year.
Yes.
Offering pizzas to veterans.
Yes, and at least we get an opportunity to really recognize our veterans, right? I mean, there's not too many, times that we get to do it, and at the same time, they get a pizza. Yes.
Yes.
And if they don't want it, they can give it to me. Man, I love this. We got to keep doing it now.
All right, it's your turn, Anthony.
Oh, I get to talk.
Yes.
I love this. Actually, I don't.
So you know, we deal with a lot of veterans every week. Phone call, text message, and so on our radio show, we always want to offer a tip of the week. So Anthony will read that.
All right, here we go. They always do this to me on this radio show. I think it's Jose and Karina's way of saying, well, we let you talk all the time.
You're not just another pretty face.
Oh, yes, yes.
Remind him.
That's right. Anyway, so here we go. What steps can I take if my disability rating is too low? Here's a detailed explanation of what you can do if you believe your VA disability rating is too low. Number 1, understand why you believe the rating is too low. Review your rating decision letter carefully to see how VA calculated your percentage and what evidence they used. Compare your symptoms to the VA Schedule of Ratings Disability, VA SRD, found in 38 CFR Part 4 to see if your symptoms align with a higher percentage. Check whether VA considered all your service-connected conditions or only some. Number 2, options to challenge or change your rating. A, file an appeal, decision review request. If your claim decision is less than 1 year old, you can request a review through one of the VA's 3 decision review options. Number 1, a higher level review. A senior VA reviewer examines your claim using the same evidence you submitted originally. This can take anywhere from 5 to 8 months. Supplemental claim. You can submit new and relevant evidence such as updated medical records or nexus letters. This will take at least 2 to 3 months. Board appeal, that's number 3. You can appeal directly to the Board of Veterans Appeals and choose a hearing or written review. This can take up to 3 to 4 years. I think it's more than that. So we kind of push that as a last resort. B, file a claim for an increase. If your condition has worsened over time, you can file a new claim for an increased rating. Yes, you must provide current medical evidence, VA or private records, CMP exams, nexus letters, etc. That shows your symptoms are more severe than when VA last rated them. C, request a new compensation and pension exam. If your previous CMP exam did not reflect your actual condition, or if your symptoms have worsened, you can request VA schedule another exam to reassess your current level of disability. Submitting buddy statements, treatment notes, and updated specialist evaluations can strengthen your case. Number 3, submit new medical evidence. Provide current treatment records showing increased severity or a nexus letter. Include nexus letter or disability benefits questionnaire, that's a DBQ, that describe your functional limitations. Use lay statements, your own or from family and friends, to explain how the condition affects your daily life. Number 4, timelines to keep in mind. You must appeal within 1 year of your decision to preserve your effective date. If you miss that window, you can still file a claim for an increase, but your benefits will only date back to the new claim date, not the original date. Key tip, always keep copies of all medical evidence and VA correspondence. Ensure your statements clearly describe the severity and impact of your symptoms on work and daily living. All right.
Thank you for the tip. I know that was a lot, but you know we always want to share with veterans because you know a lot of veterans, even though you know veterans are in it with us at the boot camps and are chatting with the coach. Sometimes it's good to just have that little reminder about what you can do, because a lot of veterans, even though we're doing a lot of outreach, not every veteran pays attention to what we do. So it's good to just remind them of, what they can do and to not give up.
And where do they learn all this stuff?
Well, I mean, from Veterans with Benefits every Monday on The Point. We're also on KOAM. We have a podcast, which we recorded today. And then, of course, we go to all the villages. So we've been doing the benefits boot camps since 2021. We're in boot camp 44.
44. So you mean you did 44 boot? Now that's just the ones in the villages, or are you counting even the ones that you do at the businesses?
The mini boot camps? No, I haven't included those in the numbers. But
so you do even more?
Yes, we do.
How do you guys do all this kind of outreach and helping veterans?
We just have to, because there's no one else who's going to save us.
Really?
We have to come save ourselves. Anyway, so you forgot to say hello.
Oh, no, I didn't. I was waiting for you to tell me. All right, so I wanted to say hello to Knox, Aaliyah, and to my mom.
Do you see that, Jose? Do you see what you have to deal with?
He wants you to tell him what to do, Karina.
Well,
a veteran said that they watch us, right? And he said, sometimes he cuts you off. I said, oh, sometimes no one can see what goes on, like where the camera's not. I'm like telling him to stop talking, wrap it up.
I have to rein her in a lot.
Whatever.
She's always all over the place. I can't tell you.
That's why I write things down, right? So we make sure we hit all the points, because sometimes, Anthony...
There we go. And we're back, and here we are. Anthony's thrown the first punch, and Karina can't handle it.
Let's just do a little wrap-up of, before we introduce our guests, right? So, on Friday, or on Wednesday, we had Chatting with the Coach. We empowered a lot of veterans to own their claim. And then Friday, we got invited by Miss Nikki, who attended our Talafofo boot camp. Hey, can you come and present to my shop on Navy Base? I was like, sure. So I thought it was going to be a small shop. There was over 100 people there.
Yes.
And we moved from the big theater to the chapel, and I didn't even think I had enough flyers. I'm like, oh, no, I don't think I had enough. So anyways, Miss Edith went with me, and Ramos. I think we have it coming up on the photo. And thank you to, Miss Nikki for bringing us out there.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't know if the service member, right, because they're all active duty, if they're going to retire in 1 year or 2 years. But I told them what you need to be doing now, because no one told us, right? No one prepared us. No one came to help us.
Yes.
Even though we go through TAPS really is just... It really is just to check, what we do, right? Just a check box, right? Checklist to separate or retire. So that was a good thing. Then,
and that would have been the second time we've been down there, right?
Yes, second time, yes.
Yeah. And there are more than one naval base units down there, right? That are housed down there, and we get ships that come in and out.
Oh yes, we've even been on the Coast Guard. Do you call it a cutter?
Yes.
Cutter? Coast Guard?
Yeah, the Coast Guard, it takes up space down there, right?
Yes.
So their unit is down there.
There's Ramos and Miss Edith, and they briefed, and so we were kind of having a audio, because we wanted to share the testimonies of some veterans, right? Because I told them, I can stand up here all day long and tell you what you deserve or what the process is like, but if you don't hear it from another veteran, you're not going to believe me. And all of them were shaking their heads. They're like, yeah, you're right.
And I guess when we talk to these folks, right, we talked earlier, and we talked about a transition assistance program, right? Now they can only do so much there, right? So we can help them understand a little bit more, and I think we've been doing what we're doing for quite a bit of time now. I think it's going on 5 years. Number one. Number two, we also have a doctor with us. So I don't believe the TAPS folks are doctors. And what we've been telling most of our veterans is the only person that can tell you have a disability is a doctor, right? So if we have that, and by the way, nobody in the United States does what we do and has a doctor with them. We have Dr. Akoma with us, and we're keeping him for as long as we can. And he's been one of our reasons why our veterans have been very successful. Now, back to what we talked about, the folks that are doing this, veterans can do this on their own, the service member, but it's hard for them if they're not educated about what to do and how to do this. So, it's also something, and we shouldn't be getting our VSOs to go and cherry pick these guys and say, oh, well, we helped them, and we have more than enough veterans on this island that have not been helped, that need the help of these VSOs out here. So if you're a VSO and you're out there, stay out of the naval base, stop trying to cherry pick the easy work, get your butts down there and help the veterans in the community. All right, go ahead.
And then on Saturday, we didn't have chatting with the coach because we celebrated veteran Mary Uggan, 39 years of federal service. So
right.
she invited, the team to Deuce It.
Yes.
And that's a picture of her, Mary Uggan. Congratulations, Chief. 39 years of federal service.
Yeah, she's a big help for us. And
Yes.
man, when she talks about doing the work she does and everything, right? And even when she talks about the unit, the 44th, right? Man, she is able to do quite a bit, and she just jumps in, right? When she first came to us, right, she just started, oh, do you need help over here? Starts helping us, counting money, doing stuff, right? No need to tell her what to do. She sits there, okay, what do you need me to do? Starts doing things. And these are the kinds of things and these are the kinds of folks that make us who we are and help us to really be successful, right? And I'm really getting this feeling that the 44th
We're taking over.
are really
We're
like
taking over.
muscling me out in HMI, but I kind of like it because
I told you I had a great team.
Oh, they are.
I came from that unit. We had a
got
great
Chief,
team.
we got,
Plus, we're
Miss
Air Force.
Edith.
We are not Chair Force.
And
We are Air Force.
Thank goodness I got two Army
We
with
work
Frank.
smarter, not harder.
I got two Army people with Frank and Chris, his
That's
sidekick.
it. I'm gonna start wearing my blue shirt.
And
You're
Ramos,
gonna wear your green
Ramos
shirt.
is always there to protect me. So
Oh, the Marine. Yes,
Yes.
he's a
All right,
Marine. You should see. Yes, and then we have our symposium coming up.
Oh, yes.
August 13, 14, 15, absolutely free. Please register. We're going to have light breakfast. We're going to serve lunch. We're going to have snacks in the afternoon. 3 days long. The governor, lieutenant governor are going to open it. The congressman. We're waiting on word from Senator Sabrina Salas Mancinani, who is the chairperson for Veterans Affairs on Guam. Then we're also waiting a response from the GOVA director.
Right. So we invited all these folks, right?
We did,
And
yes.
we always invite them. This is our fourth
Yes,
year. So they're all invited to come. And sometimes, right, that it's like a hot seat. Well, it's not too bad, though, right? And we usually tell our veterans, hey, you have to be respectful when you're asking these questions, right? This is not the venue for us to go up there and try to embarrass people, right? But we ask them the questions that we want them to answer, right? And nowhere on this island, no organization has ever done what we're doing. And we do this because our veterans ask it of us to get out there and do this. They asked us to do one more. So earlier this year, we did the summit up there.
Yes, up at Anderson.
Yes.
That was really good.
Okay, so
So that is August 13, 14, 15. Registration's at 7:30, and then we start from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. First part of the day is resources for the veterans. We have Social Security. We have Guam Legal Services. We have Ed Tovis do some
that's-
demonstration with his dogs.
you got to come see that one.
Yes.
So
And then the afternoon, we're going to have Boot Camp 44. But please, guys, we worked hard on this event. I know you guys love our benefits boot camp, but please come for all the resources on the island that are available to you. And then I need to read these comments online because it's all geared towards your haircut that you
What?
don't want to get.
Jose, you need to get a haircut.
So Jose Martinez, our producer, says
I need to
1600.
get hair.
Right. It's as if I'm still in the Philippines. Is that what RP stands for? And then Charlie Hermosa says, Semper Fi, guys. Yes, Tony is still growing his hair, but it's gonna be yes. The way Charlie says it, he goes yes. Hold on, Charlie, like this, right? Right, Charlie. And then Jose says, may need to replace the clipper blades halfway through. I've been picking on him. Our symposium is next week, and he hasn't gotten a haircut.
Oh,
You have a really great mane of hair there.
yes, thank you.
And then Ken Paulino
Can't
says,
wait to see it fall off.
evening HMI, awesome team, thank you. Mike Nauta, half a day, good evening.
half a day, Mike.
Al Valentine, you guys are rock stars. Thank you for all. Thank you for all you do for us vets. And then Frank and Chris Tidegui, half a day veterans.
Who's that?
Biba HMI.
Frank and Chris, who?
Tidegui.
Tidegui.
You'll be nice to them.
Those are some of our support guys. Those guys are awesome. Good to see you guys on.
And then I think, oh my gosh, we have to let her introduce herself because in 4 minutes we have to take a break.
a lady, a woman who needs, because I say a man who needs, but a woman who needs no introduction. Well, here's what we'll do. We'll have you introduce yourself, tell us what you can about you and what you've been doing, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, congratulations to both of you for standing up such a great nonprofit and being advocates for the people. My name is Lonnie Carrillo, and I'm actually from Hawaii, but Guam is now my home because of my husband. But I love Guam, and I can say that I'm an advocate. For 30 years, I've been working with Hawaii Child System of Care, so everything with juvenile justice, mental health, special education, child welfare, anything you can think of. I've had my hands in it. But, you know, part of my life journey was I was married to a military member who was injured in Iraq. And that's kind of where my advocacy started with the military and military members, and then going into veterans and all of that. So that's my intro.
All right. Yes, and she's being a little bit humble, and she has done quite a few things, right? And I think Miss Karina can talk a little bit about what program that was that you had to research.
And, you know, whenever we run into people, right, we always say, and it happens like it was meant to be, like we were supposed to meet you. So long story short, guys, if you know what the Warrior Transition Battalion is or the Soldier Recovery Unit, she was the one that started it all in 2007. She's kind of downplaying it, but she's the reason why soldiers, sailors, and what do you call Marine? Service members don't go home broken. They're taken care of first. They're taken care of medically, physically, emotionally. They help transition back to life. So she was the one that started this all in Hawaii. And so you want to just give us, because I know we did this earlier at the podcast, so you go into depth there in the podcast. But I mean, we have some time. So if you want to just briefly, oh no, we got to take a break first. So we'll take a break first and then you can start. At least we got to introduce you.
Yes.
You're listening to us on The Point. You can call in to 671-888-TALK. We'll be right back.
At Bank of Hawaii, we're committed to helping everyone in Guam reach their possible. That's why we're proud to announce the opening of our new Tamuning branch and West Pacific headquarters across from Guam Premier Outlets. Our new branch of tomorrow features a modern, welcoming space with island hospitality, all staffed by our local financial experts and trusted team you've come to know. Right now, earn a cash bonus with the opening of an eligible savings account. Bank of Hawaii. Member FDIC.
Stay cool all year round by checking out Johnstone Supply for your HVAC and refrigeration needs. Located at 170 Guerrero Drive on Picanel Road in Tamuning, call Johnstone Supply today at 671-649-0581. That's 671-649-0581. Open 8 a.m. to noon and 1 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Open Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and closed on Sundays. Stay cool with Johnstone Supply.
Fox Facts.
With summer barbecues heating up, a bottle of ketchup is likely on your picnic table. This popular condiment has a surprising history, though. It was once sold as medicine. In 1834, Dr. John Cook Bennett, an Ohio physician, developed a tomato-based elixir he claimed could cure digestive issues, believing the high acidity of tomatoes was beneficial. Salesman Archibald Miles marketed the elixir in pill form, calling it Dr. Miles' Compound Extract of Tomato. But over time, people began to appreciate the tomato-based product more for its flavor than its supposed health benefits. In 1876, American entrepreneur Henry Heinz introduced the condiment we know today. Originally called catsup, it was derived from a Chinese fish sauce. Today, ketchup is widely enjoyed as a flavorful addition to hamburgers, French fries, and even eggs. Matt Murphy, Fox News.
And we're back. So we had her introduce herself, and I gave a little brief introduction. She was the reason why Warrior Transition Battalion exists. And that was since 2007. It's now been renamed in Hawaii to Soldier Recovery Unit. And I did do a little research, and now all the services have something similar to it. Yeah. And so they don't only focus on getting the service member physically better, medically. It's more.
Yes.
Lonnie, you could share.
Yes. So I'll just kind of start from the beginning, and I'll do it quickly because it's a long story. But back in 2004, my ex-husband, he was active duty, but he went over to the FBI and he was on the HIDA task force. And then he joined the Hawaii National Guard, which of course got activated and was sent to Iraq. Now, the National Guard members were gone for about 2 years because the training and all of that had to happen. But with the Hawaii National Guard, we had American Samoa also activate and go with them. And so, they were gone for 2 years, and about a month before he was supposed to come home, he got injured in Iraq. Came home, had 12, 13 surgeries. I can't even remember now because there's so much. And what the active Army side was doing, they basically said, if you're injured after your surgery, we're releasing you. You're back to your unit, your National Guard unit, which is not a full-time job. That's not a paycheck. And so, of course, my ex-husband, he couldn't go back into the HIDA task force because that's a law enforcement. You need to be able to run. Yeah. And his knee is gone. But through this, I started thinking, well, if this is happening to him, where, people are just, as a soldier, you're injured, okay, bye. If this is happening to him, it's probably happening to way more people. And I started getting phone calls from other, spouses, injured soldiers who really didn't know what to do, and they were in the same situation. I work for Coca-Cola. I don't have an arm now, so I can't lift. So what do I do? And I can't support my family. And, with that, because it is Hawaii National Guard and American Samoa, and we had a lot of Hawaiians there too. Right. And Hawaii is very set up to have advocacy groups. So one of the groups is the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. And so I spoke to them and I got them involved also. But we were also in a position to meet with our senators. I had some really great congressional members, Dan Akaka and Danny Noy. They were my guys, they were very powerful in Congress. And so when I went to them, they said, okay, we're going to set up a meeting for you at Diamond Head, and can you come? I said, sure. So I walk into this conference room, and there's the Adjutant General, all the Hawaii National Guard members, all the generals from Tripler, from Schofield, even the Air Force and Navy sent and Marine Corps sent representatives to this because, of course, the congressional members were there, which I wasn't prepared for. I did not know that was happening. But, having a voice and sharing your story is very important because the military wasn't ready for activating National Guard and reserve members. So what do, right? And I can say that there was a lot of heartache. We had a lot of people who committed suicide. Oh, wow. We had American Samoa soldiers being housed in subpar, should have been demolished, old Schofield Barracks apartment buildings. So, he's having surgery, but he's living in a mold-infested, rat-infested, one-bedroom thing. Unit, yeah. Yeah, and so, but they were like, okay, once you do your surgeries, we're releasing you. And so, I told all of the service, the command and our senators, I said, there has to be something different, because we had a medical unit, but it was like 90 days. Right. And that's not, for somebody who had his knee blown out or whatever, arm blown, or, it wasn't responsible. Right. So they asked me, what do they think is feasible? And I said, well, you need to build a program, keep soldiers within their position, so they're still getting paid, they're still getting housing, they can still take care of their families, but also their medical treatment, they shouldn't be driving while high on codeine to a doctor's appointment that you're sending them to. Right. They need the transportation. A lot of them had to employ into other employment. You can't be with the law enforcement anymore. You might have to do this. So let's look at some kind of vocational training. And through that, our senators, the Dans, they're like, you know, Lonnie, we need you to come up and really speak in front of Congress. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. But, you know, and then I didn't have to because they spoke for me in Congress.
Right.
And they got the funding. So within months, I want to say 3 months, they called me and said, hey, you know, we got the monies. Let's meet. We got funding. Let's build this up. So, you know, I met with them, met with the command. And, you know, the scary thing is that when you're in the military and nothing has happened to you physically and you're behind a desk or you're safe, you know, but you're making policies that are about other people who are not in the same position as you, that other voice needs to be at the table. So I became that. And, you know, my advocacy came out from that because it wasn't about just me and my husband or my kids. It was about this whole community and even American Samoa. When I met with their representative and some of their soldiers, I saw how painful it was for them. They're housed in a one-bedroom apartment. Their family is in American Samoa. So you're not, maybe they're healing physically, but emotionally, they're away from their kids and their support and their family. So through the buildup of the Warrior, at the time it was Warrior Transition Unit, because it was so small. And I can say my ex-husband was the first in and the longest one there because they couldn't really kick him out. But with American Samoa, I said, look, I need you to bring their families out here to Hawaii because you're not going to build a hospital. Okay, fine. Then bring the families over.
Oh, wait, you guys want a hospital too?
Oh, we didn't. I mean, American Samoa doesn't have anything. They don't. You know,
and neither do we. But that's one of the things that we know that our veterans want. They want a hospital.
Yes, and it makes sense.
Anybody can say anything they want, but they're not the only ones. Department of Defense wants us to have our own hospital so that we're not leaning on them. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
And we'll talk about that. But
yeah, I mean, you know, so part of this too is keeping the soldiers, getting them healthy. So we did bring family members from American Samoa and house them in, you know, on the barracks, in the barracks. But they were paying the spouses to be caretakers because, she or he had to leave their job to take care of their spouse and the kids are here. So they were paying them and it just made sense. So, but this was a battle. And I can tell you on paper, when you look at it, it looks like the Warrior Transition Battalion didn't really start until the 2010s, 2014. But there was all this stuff that was happening in the background. You know, 2007, we stood it up in 2008. Yes, it wasn't perfect. It was a lot of learning and a lot of, you know, figuring things out. You know, things like the military didn't, you know, identify TBI, traumatic brain injury, and post-traumatic stress disorder. They didn't recognize that as a disability, so we kind of had to get like the clinicians on board. And so there was all this stuff. And now that we're in the place of now these people are now becoming veterans or are now veterans, we want to make sure that they're getting what they're entitled to and the benefits. So I'm the behind-the-scene person. But through the process, we also gain knowledge of what can we do better, right? So we want to upskill people in employment or education, or, you know, they need the therapeutic kind of treatment instead of just a very Western approach. So now at Tripler, for active duty members, you can access things like, you know, the behavioral health unit. And it's not just about behavioral health. It's looking at the whole person in a therapeutic manner. So you can get chiropractic service, acupuncture, medical massage, a psychologist, because I'm sorry, everybody needs a therapist. You know, we all go through so many things. But just having that as a whole, and as we're talking about a hospital, one of the things that I really pushed for was, and this is probably the same on Guam, I lived on the west side of the island, and the hospital is kind of far away, especially with traffic. And so I said, hey, can we have a community health clinic out on the west side? And the Department of Defense agreed, and they built the Warrior Ohana unit. And they are amazing. Everything is there. Physicians, I can get all my pharmacy, I can get all of my blood work done there, labs, everything is there, and behavioral health, everything is there.
So it was DOD that built that, not the Department of Veterans Affairs?
No. The Department of Defense built all of these things for us. Now, right now, especially in Hawaii, the VA has built VA care homes, which are beautiful, and they built it in 2 years. It's beautiful. But at that care home, I think it's long-term care homes, they have medical there. So there's people there. They built a VA regional thing in Kapolei, which is just, it's a clinic. It's so nice. And you walk in and it quickly get help. And we don't just have a soldier who is assigned to that position. There's civilians there. There are people from the community who are there.
Right.
So, you know, with that, I'll go back to this. I'm an advocate. I always, you know, and like I told you earlier, I'm not here to hold anybody's hand, but I will walk beside you on your journey because I might not know it all, and I really don't know a lot. I just know a little bit of a little bit, you know, and through that experience to share with others exactly what you guys are doing is how we empower people, how we uplift our community as a whole, not just an individual, but as a whole, and working together. And everybody says collaboration. I say no. I say we work together because we have positive relationships that are affecting and getting positive outcomes for our community. So, you know, that's just my kind of throw up of my emotional.
And you know, it's interesting, right? So pre-Desert Shield, Desert Storm, right? That's the start of the Gulf War, right? The way the system was set up was the active duty folks were supposed to go to combat, and the Guard and Reserve were supposed to fill in while they went off to combat. But for whatever reason, they flipped that script really quick, and they said, nope, active duty stay. Well, I mean, not all of them stayed in place, but a good chunk of them did, and they activated all the Guard and Reserves, and that was what you're talking about is exactly the growing pains, and I don't know that we need to have the pain before something actually works. You know what I mean? And that seems to be the case, right? And with most governments, right? Until something's wrong, then we're going to do something, right? We usually don't say, hey, let's look if something's going to happen and we'll prepare for it. No, it's usually we need the disaster, we need the problem. Oh, now we need to fix it, right? So that seems to be part of the challenge. And hearing you having those challenges out there in Hawaii makes me feel not so much better, but it tells me that where we're at and what we're moving towards is almost in the same vein as what you're doing. We have to pay attention. We have to do these things. And like you said, we're bringing the veterans together. We're saying, come here. We're bringing resources and trying to really understand what's going on so that we get our veterans what they need. And, you know, when we say, well, we want a hospital, I don't know that they're going to give us a hospital, but that's what I'm asking for. Because when you talk to every veteran on this island, the top of the list of what they want is a veterans hospital. And I didn't ask them that. I didn't tell them to say that. This is them. You ask them, what do you want? I want a veterans hospital. And there's a little bit more to that, right? So here on Guam, right, unlike Hawaii, I don't believe, we've been exposed to Agent Orange. And I'm trying to push this through anybody that would listen out there, right? Because when you really think about it, folks that were stationed here on Guam between 1962 and 1980 were exposed to Agent Orange.
July 1980.
Yeah. So, Jose, did you cut that out? Okay, all right. So you know, if you fall into that category, right? So, the soldiers and the service members that were stationed here were not the only people on this island. Most of our folks that are now in the service or were born during that time frame were also exposed. Civilians were exposed, and some attorneys want to go after helping the civilian side, but they're not looking at the local people. They're looking at civilians on the bases. And it's really interesting that, we're only cherry picking the ones that we want to use. And oh, by the way, it's very challenging with the VA. The VA will not just automatically talk to our veterans that say, hey, I swore in from Guam. Hey, I was on Guam on leave. And we actually push that through what we've been doing out here, because before the PACT Act came out, working with Dr. Akoma, we started talking to the veterans, and we asked them, and they said, oh yeah, when I was in Johnston Island, this is what I saw. And we're like, wow, that's interesting, right? So before PACT Act came out, we were already filing for a lot of these conditions for our veterans. And when the PACT Act came out, they started to receive them. So, you know, these are the types of things when we talk about that, right? We want to know that, hey, look, you know, there are things going on that our veterans need to be taken care of for, you know. So you talk about getting deployed to combat, coming back home, and then getting taken off of, hey, you got to go do this, and you're no longer active duty, and go back and do your thing, right? Leadership really needs to pay attention to that, right? I mean, you can't take our men and women, send them off into harm's way, and bring them back and say, oh yeah, you're out of here. We damaged you. That's you're on your own, right? So I think you know, it's just the things that are going on. So
yeah, and you know, part of are we stopping?
No,
Yeah,
I think we are due for a break though.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Jose.
Sure, let's go.
All right, we're going to take a break. You can call into 671-888-TALK. You're listening to Veterans with Benefits on The Point at 93.3. We'll be right back.
All right.
Half a day. Kim Anderson from Security Title here to share some behind-the-scenes functions of a title company. First, we search the chain of title to property, and when a critical link is missing, we work with the owners to correct their ownership. When it comes to a sale, we work closely with realtors and lenders to ensure a smooth closing. Finally, we back up our work with a title insurance policy that guarantees the buyer they actually own the property. Security Title has the management of real estate closings down to a science. Give us a call. We are here to help.
Jam Sessions GU presents the return of Pow Hana. In addition to the vibes on September 6th, COC has been added to the lineup along with Black Cinderella.
Relive your memories and make new ones at Ipao Beach Park on September 6th for the return of Pow Hana and more. Purchase your tickets now at guamtime.net.
Jam Sessions GU has a lot in store for the return of Pow Hana.
Stay tuned by following Jam Sessions GU on Instagram.
6th of September.
And we're back. So we're over here talking about what we're going to talk about because there's so much to talk about. So did you wanted to jump in after Anthony had, talked about?
Yeah, everything that he's saying, and it's sad to say that a lot of these things have already happened. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. But what you need to do, and what I'm seeing in Guam right now, is the people need to come together collectively and use their voices. This ripple effect. Everybody talks about, throwing a pebble in this ripple and, yeah, but you throw a big boulder, you're going to get a huge wave. So, you're talking about all these veterans together and they're saying that they have these needs. Okay, so if your political members, your government officials aren't listening, then you need to start, doing the letters, and CCing not only just one person, but everybody, to have everybody voices together is very strong. Because yes, the system is there and it's set up in a systematic way to be uniformed. It's not about change in a quick way, but it can happen if you talk to the right people, and you need those champions. So when I'm talking about advocacy and the work that I've done in the past, it's you guys are already doing it. You're doing the work. You have the people. Take that information, bring it up. You can be nice and go, okay, I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to go through all of my politicians here on island, and then we'll ask permission to go to DC or, hey, I get together with all the Pacific Islands and we are going to band together and say we need this. But the one thing that I know is missing here, which I'm having a hard time with, is finding the right data. And if you guys are collecting data already, take that data and then push it out for policymakers and grant providers. There's never just one funding source. There's multiple funding sources. You can split funding. When we talk about veteran affairs, if they have grant fundings for certain things and you're doing it and another organization is doing it, then split the money. You know, they can.
Well, you know how the crap mentality is, right? And I'm sure you have that in Hawaii too, right? And you know, a lot of times, right, when you look at it, right, I know at one point there was an organization that got a large sum of money a few years ago, and they continue to ask us to come help. Hey, give me your data, give me this, and we're like, what's that about, right?
Yeah.
And only to find out that there was some money that they could have been using, but rather than allowing HMI, and back then we were early, so we kind of were like, we don't get that, right? And we were a bunch of guys, right? So we're like, no, the grant's supposed to come in and they give us money and we do work, right? So you know, we and I myself wasn't too familiar with it, right? So, and at the end of the day, I was just like, you know, behind the scenes guy at that moment, right? I was like, okay, whatever you guys want to do, we'll do it, right? And that was kind of the thing, right? It was like, what is really going on, right? And rather than saying, hey, come be a part of this and we can help this way, it always is, well, I have the grant and I'm going to tell you what you need to do and you fall under me. So it's almost like making other people do work and you get all the credit rather than, hey, here's some funding to help you with what you're doing. Almost like a sub-grantee type setup. And in the VA, it's really crazy because what we're more familiar with is the three types of grants that they give out, right, is homelessness, joblessness, and suicide prevention. There's no other money out there for that. The one thing, though, is that HMI has been trying to help veterans on the foundation, on the very level that they need to be. We tell them, file your claim, because if you do and you get some money, that's one of the biggest hurdles that will help you to avoid homelessness, joblessness, and suicide prevention. So, but we're not looking at it that way. They want to have problems, talk about how to fix those problems, and not get rid of the root problem, which is if we empower these veterans and take care of them, give them medical care, right? Those two things alone are going to be things that would help the veteran to take care of themselves and not fall into the category of joblessness, homelessness, or need for suicide prevention. So,
yeah, I mean, there's outreach education. And then another part of it is prevention and interventions. Those are all services that have already been proven to work. And so, you know, you guys are just doing it already. So you're already looking at workforce. You're upskilling people. You're already doing mental health, at least suicide prevention. And you're already doing all of these stuff. So if you grab that data and submit it to the Veteran Affairs and say, look, we need a separate pot for this, or it needs to be something different. You know, it's hard for them to change, but if it falls in one of their categories, and you know, the other thing that you need to leverage here is with this. I'm assuming that this real military buildup is happening. You know,
it's almost gone.
Well, no, there's a new thing that's starting, right? That $5 billion, right? This $5 billion, and they're asking the mayors to do a community needs assessment. Well, part of that is, you know, having the veterans' voices in this community needs assessment. Because if you're leveraging, hey, military, you're going to build up over here. We want a hospital. Because now you're talking about, I don't know, 60,000 more people on an island, and that's not sustainable, just FYI.
Yes, no, you're right. I mean, we've already needed a hospital since GRMC was built. Now, you know, and these are one of the challenges that we have out here that, you know, I always know that we need to do more, right? And I think the big thing is, how do we get more investment money into this island? Because the more of that we get, the more that we can build, right? And do things with that kind of funding. But it's just so hard. And what a lot of our leaders tend to want to be is, okay, this is the money. This is it. This year, you get 30%. Next year, you get 10. The following year, somebody gets the 30, somebody else gets the 10. So we've not really concentrated on how do we make that pot of money bigger to help more of our people. And with that comes some other things that, you know, when money comes in, there's other things that need to be taken care of. But end of the day, we keep looking at the same pot of money, trying to figure out how to fix that. Yeah.
But if there is that $5 billion coming and it's not here yet, Anthony's been like trying to tell all these leaders to, hey, do something for the veterans. He asked way before when military buildup even started. And what were you told?
What was I told?
You said no one no one from the government
so what had
said,
happened
hey,
was,
what about the veterans?
Yeah, so the leadership never reached out to the DOD when they first started doing the industry forums and everything, and they never asked, on the build up to say, hey, what about for veterans? So nobody asked. And this is usually the case no matter where you go, right? Veterans are always like an afterthought, right? Mm-hmm. And then veterans are not so good at advocating for themselves by nature of their work, right? And that's what they're told when they get into the service. Hey, you suck it up. Hey, you keep doing, you just drive on. You're going to make it, do this, do that. And we make them so resilient. And even when they're really not doing well, they're going to tell you they're doing well. But then it's really up to us to have the things there for them when they really need it. And it's always, for many of us, a lot of times it's too late. And then we give the wrong impression. We fix that cemetery to be so beautiful, right? I'm like, why don't we fix other programs to look beautiful rather than, hey, this is where you're going to go when you die. And look at, we're really making it nice and beautiful. Rather than saying, hey, here are places you can go. Hey, here's a facility. We could start doing things here like, hey, maybe we could have you come here and you guys get together and live a good life and have games and do things.
But programs. I just hope the leaders out there are listening to invite us to the table, because we're the ones that have the pulse of the veterans. And I don't know about you guys, but I know elections coming up, so I think they'd want us at their table.
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you start early, year, right? I mean, if you're a smart politician, you'd start early.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that everybody is in it because they have a heart for it. And I always try to give people a chance, especially leaders and administrators. They don't know everything. Yes. They don't know the deep hole. But if you, as somebody who's coming to this table and saying, I just worked with 700 veterans within a 6-month period, you would hope that they would listen to you. And then you give them the opportunity to learn from you. And if nothing happens, then I move on to the next. I always try to give people a chance to step up and do what is right. But at the same time, if you're not, then I'm moving on to do what I need to do and go around. And, for all the veterans out there, don't give up. Don't lose hope. There's obviously this really great team here that, is doing things with no funds, and I have to say, I've walked away from millions of dollars in grants because I don't agree with some of the things that was happening. So I'm okay doing that. And so I've done stuff out of just my heart. And I see that with you guys. And if you allow, your voices to be heard at the table, and you're uplifting and empowering a bunch of people, and their lives are better.
Yes.
Those are the best things you can do for your community.
Oh yeah, and no amount of money is going to make that make you feel better, other than hearing these veterans. But I think we're wrapping up now. So This is your moment of fame. Who do you want to say hi to out there?
Well, nobody I know is on this island. So.
Well, they don't have to be. This is going viral. You're going to be on Facebook and YouTube. So.
Well, my ex-husband Bobby, who we're really great friends, and my 3 children, Braden, Celeste, and Bobby Blade.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be here next week, and happy birthday to my brother Victor Titano tomorrow.
Thank you to all our veterans and our listeners.
And please register for the symposium.
Yes, and we'll see you again.
Yes, we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Aloha.
All right.
The Point is KUSG, Hagåtña, Guam, 93.3 FM and 104.3 HD3.
Drama in the Lone Star State. I'm Ted Lindner, Fox News. Democratic lawmakers from Texas resisting efforts by their state's Republican legislative majority from redrawing the Texas congressional map. Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer explains how they're slowing it down.
In a dramatic move, Texas House Democrats have fled the state to block a vote on a Republican-drawn congressional map that could cut 5 Democratic seats. The lawmakers are headed to Illinois and New York, aiming to break quorum and stall the vote. Democrats call the map a power grab, while Republicans say it fixes unconstitutional lines. Fines and arrests could follow this. The political showdown is drawing national attention.